was born, the nurses all gathered round, and they gazed in wide wonder at the joy they had found. The head nurse spoke up, said, "Leave this one alone." She could tell right away that I was bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad to the bone, bad.
Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't been on this channel before, check it out. There's a lot of videos on there. This is my last video on the Road Glide because I sold it yesterday. Put in well over 20-25 grand in upgrades on that bike, if not more, probably more. I don't want to admit it though. First step of the first step of realizing you have a problem is that you admit you have a problem, like spending too much on that bike. Yeah, I had a problem. So anyway, this video, it's going to be a long video. I'm going to go over every single upgrade I did on that bike. Now, some of you complained in the comments I talk too much, I don't show enough. Go to another channel. I don't care. I'm trying to help those out that haven't had these upgrades yet. So if you're tuning in for the first time, yeah, I talk a lot because I want to go over this stuff. I wish some of these videos were available to me when I first started looking for upgrades. So basically, I'm going over all these upgrades, the good, the bad, about the install. Some of these may not apply to you. You can skip around if you want, but I'm going through every single one of these upgrades. And I'm going to be showing the bike throughout the process. I'm doing a lot of talking, but in no particular order. Let me go over because I have it here. It's a long list. I put in the S&S 124 M8 Power Pack. I did that from Jamie's Speed Performance. He's in South Dakota. I had him do it in, not Biketoberfest, the March Daytona Bike Week. I had him do it there. It's expensive. I think it was like $7 grand for everything. He upgraded the clutch along with everything else. Anyway, I had that done. As I was going back to the hotel, a piece broke off. Long story short, the bike had to get towed, had to get it redone, had to fly up to North Carolina and come down and pick it up. Once it was done, the 124 kit is a beast. The torque, I think I got 146 on the dyno on the torque, and it was a beast. But let me start out by initially, I've always had a problem with that Road Glide with heat. There's always too much heat. I changed the header pipes, and just so I could get rid of the cat. Still had a lot of heat. When I went with the 124, I also put on a Bassani 2-in-1 road rage for the best performance. I like the way it looked too. And it was just so damn hot. I had to wear I used to wear this like shin guard on my calf. It's like a soccer shin guard. I actually have one right here. Just put this thing on. It's a little padded one, if you can really see it. But I put it on the inside of my calf because I'd have like not even 30, I'd have like 10th degree burns on my calf if I touched that pipe. So the bike is too hot. It's definitely not a summer bike. So that's the one drawback of going to a 124. You can get it tuned, you know, for the leanness and the how rich it is, to try to cool that down a little bit, but it's a hot bike. So if you're thinking about going with the 124, sounds great, great performance, super fast, super torquey, a lot of heat. That's something you have to worry about. Moving on. I went to the Man of War Compensator. These all have videos. Everything I'm talking about, pretty much I have a video. Go through my channel, you'll find it. The Man of War Compensator, I did it myself. It's actually not that hard to do. I made a couple mistakes on the torque value. I had to go back in, but anyway, it's a great upgrade to get. So much better than the clunky compensator that you have in your Harley now if you have the Road Glide. And if you see the two compared, you'll see the difference. And it's like multiple pieces for the Harley one. The Man of War is one solid, well-made piece of fine piece of machinery. Let me get you the Man of War. Man of War is friggin' heavy. Oh my God. Let's look at these side by side. Alright, this is a solid piece right here. I had two different tuners on the bike. I had the FP3, the Vance & Hines FP3. It was fine for what I needed. I was able to get the tunes, and what's great about them is the support they issue. They, you call them up, email them, they'll send you a custom map based on what you have. You can also go through and do the settings yourself and do that. But they'll send you a custom map based on what kind of exhaust and whatever setup you have, whether you have a cam, what kind of breather you have. So I had the FP3 first, not bad at all. I went to the DynoJet when I upgraded my bike. Actually, before the 124, I went to that. It's a much better tuner. And what's great about that, the little display that comes with it, I mounted on my bike, which you'll see here. And you have a lot of different readouts you could do. I was mainly concerned about the oil temperature, the engine temperature. I have my battery readout on there. I kept my odometer for like trip readings. I had trip A, trip B. So if I did long distance, I constantly wanted to see how many miles in between gas stations I did. It depends on how you like to ride. I usually like to do about 125 miles per stop. So anyway, I had that, so I always knew how many more miles I had to go. So I like the Dynavision. The Dakota digital gauges, another install video I did. Always loved it, always wanted it. It's badass looking. It's not the greatest during the daytime when the sun hits, but you still can see it. It automatically changes colors on you, so you can still see it. But at nighttime, that thing is beautiful. And you have so many different customizations and where you put it all. You know, if you want to show the fuel gauge here, or what gear indicator it is on both, on either one, you can do all that on there. So the Dakota digital gauges are really good. Check those out. You have very customizable. You could put what you want. You could split the view. You could put just one unit of measure on there. I have on my left, I have the air temperature, which is 88 degrees, which I don't think that's accurate. It's probably like 80. And below that's my oil temperature at 132 degrees. That's the best part of these gauges, that I can now see my oil temperature. Then on the right hand side, I got my fuel percentage, which is 48%, which also shows down here, which is less than a half a tank. And I have my volts at 14.3. So all the important gauges are showing. You could totally customize these colors. I mean, anything you want. Right now I have the blue and the ice blue or whatever it is. But you could totally customize it to whatever you want. And whatever your favorite colors are. Whatever you can see the best. Whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to get into, if you're familiar with South Florida, I'm going over to 441. So I can open it up a little bit. You can get a look at the gauges in action. Ooh, nice clear lane. No idiot wants to take it yet. Be a little careful coming through, because there's a lot of old people here. Went with the Dirty Air Fast Up rear shocks. Now, the reason why I did that, I had a couple different shocks that I had. Progressive, had Oleans. Wasn't crazy about either one. I know everybody raves about it. You go on the forums, oh, you got to get Oleans, you got to get Progressive, you got to get Legends. I had all three. I went with the Dirty Air Fast Up for a couple reasons. That Road Glide, I mean, with everything I have on it, it's over 1,000 pounds easy, and I'll explain that as we go on. I have a flexibility problem. I tore my groin once, and I don't have the greatest flexibility. So getting into bumper-to-bumper traffic, if I'm riding 2 up, I like to get a little more flat-footed. So what's great about the fast up, I could just with a fingertip control, just lower it a little bit when I get to a light, or slow it down in bumper-to-bumper, raise it up all the way when I get on the highway. It's fast. It's customizable to exactly what you want. And I had the air pressure gauge going into the Dakota digital gauge. One of my gauges had air pressure readout. So I highly recommend those. I liked it better than the other setups I had. Alright, times like this I wish I had a clone. I'm going to put the bags back on. I'm going to do everything myself around here. And I'm going to show you all around the dirty air.
What do you want? You already got me doing the cooking and the cleaning and all the other
Come out and help me.
Sometimes I wish
do
that
that
was
for me.
creative.
He's not as good looking as me, but he helps out. Please do.
You got the stool,
Yeah,
right?
I got the stool. Alright, so what?
I'm trying.
Okay, I originally was going to wire it to these buttons. It's a pain in the ass, too many wires, so I just kept it real simple with this. Now with this, when it first kicks on, if there's no air in there, it's going to start. So this is already raised up. So to lower it down, all we're going to do is hit this. Simple as that. Raise it and lower it again. Right now it's raised. Let's lower it. Completely lowered in no time. And raised. Right back up. That's all there is to it. Simple as that. While we're talking about suspension, let's go over to the front end. I put the Axeo 21s in there, the cartridge. Tell you the truth, I didn't see much of a difference. And again, everybody raves about you got to get rid of the stock suspension. I really didn't notice much of a difference. I don't know what it is. I went with a 21-inch wheel. Now I got the wheel actually off of eBay. It came with a tire and a rim. It's like under $1,000. It's a pretty good deal, and you know, no problems at all. Brand new tire, and it looks really good. Held up nice. I did the since we're talking about the front, I did the couple different front fenders. I forgot which brands. I went with a couple different ones. And I did the Arlen Ness 6-piston front caliper. And I tell you what, I was on my way home from Texas, I think, or North Carolina, whatever it was. And everybody stopped short in front of me. There was, actually it was from North Carolina. But anyway, everybody stopped short in front of me because this guy was doing a grass and he came out onto the highway and everybody slammed on their brakes. And I had to slam on my brakes, and that bike stopped on a dime. Now, if I had my standard brakes on there, I would have went into the back of one of the other cars. Wouldn't have been bad, but I guarantee you I would at least hit the back bumper of one of the cars. So that 6-piston versus the 4-piston, I think it was a good upgrade. I also upgraded the rotors on the bike. But that Arlen Ness is a nice little deal. The only problem is it's hard to do yourself unless you have the right equipment and you have that, I forgot what it's called, the Harley, you need to be able to do the ABS properly. You need the proper setup and the software for that. I didn't have it. So anyway, that was that. Moving on. I installed the KST Spearheads, 14-inch Vanguard Spearheads. Now, if you're going to go KST, if you're going to go with new handlebars, which I highly suggest, the KST Spearheads are great. I'll tell you why. There are 3 different pieces. So you have the bottom piece and 2 pieces that go into it, come out. What's great about that is you could rotate these in and out to exactly what's comfortable and forward and back, But the other one's a one piece, so you pretty much just got forward and back. This you could do in, depending on how you like it. You go exactly the way you like it, and that's it. Very easy to thread the wires through. They give you a wire loom. There's videos on this too. They give you the wire loom, and you pull it right through. It's fast. I'm not gonna go fast, but it's an easy installation. Just make sure you don't really have much room. I would suggest getting the wire extensions for the throttle and for both sides. You could do it with 14, it's tight. So if you pinch it at all, you're screwed. So get the wire extensions, it's not expensive, it makes it a little easier to do. So I went with that. I'll tell you from experience, because I did it on my other bike, I did a 12-inch KSTs, but not the Spearheads. And those were a major bitch. Took me 2 days to do it. I couldn't get the wires through, especially with the heated grips. So get the 3-piece, it's a lot easier. Trust me on that one. Trust me on that one. MRI Center Stand. The cons to it is it makes the bike heavier. It's a heavy little unit. The pros to it, it's real nice just to drop that bike down if you have air ride. So that's the other thing. If you have air ride, you need the air ride to do it. So you need to you have to basically drop the center stand and then get rid of all the air. It goes flat right on top of it. Your bike's steady, it's not going anywhere. Can't drop it on dirt because it'll dig into the dirt, the bike will top over. Not that I ever did that, or did I? And you can't really do it on a hill or a slant. But if you're on flat ground, you're in the garage, it's great. Nice and flat, the bike doesn't have to lean. It's nice to have. It's not a bad install at all. I have install videos on that too. But the MRI Center Stand is very nice. The problem is you can't do it unless you have the air ride, and you have to have the 2-into-1. If you have the cross under pipe for your like standard, dual exhaust, it won't work. It'll hit it. There's ways to modify it, I heard, but I'm not going to play around with that. So when I went to the 2-into-1, I had plenty of room, plenty of clearance, so I could drop that all the way down. Which also helps when you have the air ride. If you want to go low, you're not going to bang that cross under pipe. So, MRI Center Stand, I like it. It really depends on your setup. Okay, that looks good. Let's see if I get these started. You want to take these screws. Disclaimer, if your bike falls, it's not my fault. Okay, let me show you how it works real quick. Okay, right now, the stand is down. Excuse to raise the bike. Okay, let's pull the stand up. It's just a switch of the bike. And that's it. It's up. Back down. Works like a charm. Lower the bike. That's all there is to it. Let's talk about exhaust. I started with the Reinhardt Dual Slims and the Reinhardt 4.5 dBx mufflers. Those are nice. Very easy install. They sound great. Another video on that on one of my channels. But I like them a lot. So I had those on. I tried because I'm never happy. I went with the Vance & Hines. I went with the Vance & Hines 4.5 power duals with the 4.5 Torker mufflers. Those were a bitch to get on. They didn't line up like the Reinhardts. And I've done a few different mufflers. I'm telling you, those weren't so easy to put on. And the Reinhardt sounded a lot better than that. The Reinhardt setup blew away the Vance & Hines setup. But and I have video on that. So I went with those. Love the Reinhardts, but I switched to the Bassani 2-in-1 Road Rage, which I talked about just earlier. Great sound, very hot, great sound though, and performance supposedly increased too. Louder than I thought. I'm probably going to die from the fumes. Doors closed. Call EMS for me. Okay, the Baja Designs LP6 headlights. Let me tell you something. When you put those on, everybody gets out of your lane because it's so bright. So if you're in that left lane, somebody's going too slow, you get behind them, I guarantee you they're going to move over. That shit is bright as hell. If you're on a turnpike or highway, you light up from breakdown lane to breakdown lane with the 3 lanes in between or even more. Everything's lit up. You're in a parking lot, you turn those on, the whole parking lot lights up. It's amazing how bright these are. Drawbacks to that. Again, the install videos on one of my channels. I'm not going to say that anymore. If you're looking for any of these things we're talking about, I almost definitely did a video on it, so check on there. Anyway, the Baja lights, the install's not hard. It takes up a lot of room. The one downfall to it is there are some gaps. So water can get in, or will get in. So if you have the stock radio in there, you're good. Depending on what kind of aftermarket setup you set in there, if you have the Sony 7000, water could get in there and possibly get your unit wet, and next thing you know, who knows what could happen. A trick around that, if you know you're going to ride into a storm or something, put some painter's tape around those little gaps, just in case. You carry that with you if you're worried about it. But if you have your stock setup, you should be fine with that. But night and day, literally, night becomes day when you put those Baja lights on. Great. I went with 1 amber, 1 white. Some states say you can't have both amber. Some states will even be completely against it because it's not DOT certified, I guess. There should be DOT marking on there. It really depends what state you're in. So check that first before you buy it. You don't want to get pulled over. Okay, let's talk about some of the custom work I did. I did this custom gas tank. Custom gas tank console. It's a Spartan console. It's a the thin blue line gas tank, and the face is actually 3D almost. It comes out. So the guy built it out on a tank. I also did a custom Punisher fairing. The person I got it from is called Brock Black Designs. They're on Etsy. He's on Etsy. Does amazing work, no doubt about it. And he cost some money to do it. quality's good, very good. A couple of issues I had with them, and the tank, the colors weren't exactly like I thought they would be. They were a little lighter than I wanted. Maybe it was a miscommunication. Didn't look like the one that he showed on his site. It wasn't as dark. I wanted it darker. Couldn't get repainted. I took it the way it was. It wasn't bad. That's the gas tank. The console's very nice. Console is very nice. The fairing, what a major bitch that was, because he cuts it in. He cuts the fairing. He cuts the design into the fairing. So the backside of the fairing had like a little bubble to it. I could not get that fairing on. I had to grind down the whole inside. Then I had to cut my speaker pod in half and use the dead mat, the use for sound systems. Like I used that to encase the speaker. So I had to cut half of my speaker pod away just to get this fairing back on. So be careful on if you do get the fairing. I was not happy with that. I should have gone on the site and reviewed it, but I don't want to hurt the guy's business. Although I might be doing it now. I'm just telling the truth. Anyway, quality work, but be careful with the fairing. Went through a couple other consoles. I had the Willie G, I had all black. This bike started out, I'll show you some pictures here. This bike started out a basic 107 for the cheapest Harley you can get. Let me tell you a quick story about that. Fast forward if you don't want to hear a quick story. Well, a little bit longer than I expected, but basically my ex-wife would never let me get a bike. We were married 22 years. I couldn't get a bike. The day I got divorced, I ran out and got a bike. And I bought a Suzuki Boulevard. Good starter bike. Wasn't happy with it. It was too small. I went and got a Kawasaki Vulcan 1700. Big one. Didn't like it. Ended up selling it. A few years passed by. This is now, what, 2-3 years ago. I went and bought an Indian. Dark Horse. Chief Dark Horse. I didn't like it. It really wasn't a cruiser. It was like, I didn't like the bike. So I go to see what Harley has. I drive my Indian to the Harley dealer, and I'm on 95, and 70 miles per hour beat me up. I pull in, long story short, I buy the Road Glide. I didn't know what I was to expect, so I bought a basic Road Glide. Took that home, cut right through the wind. It was beautiful. Been hooked ever since. That's when the upgrade started. So I took a basic 107, all chrome and everything, and I started blacking everything out. Part of that was the Willie G console. I did a black console, and I ended up blacking out. I bought 2 different rims, blacked those out. I mean, no, they were black. The rear end, I forgot what they're called. I actually have a video on that. Swapped that out. Everything, I turned everything that had any chrome in it to all black. So I totally blacked the bike out, which you'll see, you can see here. So anyway, I had a couple different consoles. They were fine. I also put when I was talking about the rotors, the Arlen Ness 14-inch rotors. I forgot to mention that. The head unit, I swapped out the stock head unit for the Sony 7000, whatever it was. And I like the Sony. I like the functionality. It had 2 USBs. It was a lot better than the stock head unit. I had problems with the head unit. But anyway, like the Sony, wasn't the greatest to see during direct sunlight. Wasn't terrible though, but certain direct sunlight you couldn't see it too well. So that was the drawback. The Sony 5000 was worse. The 7000 is not terrible, but not great. Let's go not good, okay? So I had the Sony 7000 put in. I like some of the customizations you could put in there, a little more power. I went with 2 different, I went with a J&M speaker setup, speaker and amp setup. Pretty much plug and play, not bad. A little overpriced, I think. The support was good. Then I upgraded that J&M to another J&M amp. I forgot what size, 800 maybe. 4. I started with a 4, went to an 8. Did that for a while, wasn't crazy about it. Got rid of those. I had the Hertz Neo 6x9s in the back. They're waterproof, so they're good or water resistant. Ended up swapping that out. So now the one I ended up with just prior to when selling it, I had the Sony 7000 I had a Sound Digital 1200.4 Evo X amp. I had a Rockford Fosgate DSR1 DSP. I went with the Avant Black speaker lids, which we'll talk about in a minute, with the 8-inch Hertz Neo 8-inch speakers. I had Hertz Neo 6.5s and 6.5 on the upper and lower fairings. So, and I had the Hertz Neo 35, I believe, tweeters. That system was bumping. That was loud. And I had a friend of mine tune it, and it really was. You could hear that. You could do a block party with it. It was amazing. It was the best system I had. So if you're thinking about that, I would definitely go with the Hertz Neo. Check out Carlos at NBS Audio. He has a bunch of great videos on how to set everything up. But I would definitely recommend that system that I had in the end. Not the J&M, the Sound Digital. They fit nice. I had to customize it now. It was a little big, so I had to kind of turn it sideways and drill holes to get it to mount. You could buy an amp rack from like Zell, I think it's XEL, and you could remove a bunch of stuff, and you could do a vent delete or something like that, and you could put a whole system in there if you ever wanted to on a Road Glide. But standard Road Glide, you really didn't have to customize much. I had to cut a little bit of a speaker pod to get the DSP to sit nice, but that is one hell of a system. Going over to the speaker lids, I did the Avant Black 8-inch speaker lids. I forgot what they're called. And it had a cutout. It had room for a cutout to do the tweeters. So I did that, and it looks amazing, as you can see here, and sounds great. So I did that. But because I had the Baja lights and I was selling my bike, I didn't want to sell my bike to somebody and then they hit a rainstorm and stuff shorts out in there. I didn't want to take that chance because a lot of exposed wires in that setup. So what I did was I removed all that. I bought a Soundstream Harley Davidson unit. I mean, it's made for Harley Davidson. Very easy to install. Looks really nice. Sounds great. It's a great replacement for the head unit. If you don't have that head unit no more, go to the Soundstream. It's a nice setup. So I put the Soundstream in. Let's jump into the lower fairing. I put in by TCMT. It's an Amazon product. I did the lower fairings to them. Perfect color match. Very, well, I'm not gonna say very easy. It's a little bit of a bitch, but you can install it. It's not that hard. And I put my 6.5s in there. I bought the speaker pods, and it's half the price of what you pay for something else, especially if you go with Harley stuff. Now I had Hogworks. That was a piece of garbage. The Hogworks lower fairings were no good. Now people are trying to tell me I got the wrong year. They only have 1 year, one model they sell. It doesn't go on without. I threw it in the garbage. Let's put it that way. TCMT was pretty good. Hogworks makes a bunch of great stuff, but I wouldn't go with the lower fairings with them. So I installed those. So going back to the Avant Black 8-inch speakers, you need to get, I mean, you can buy the ones they sell. They're not that good. I mean, they're good. They just don't look that good. There's two main companies that sell speaker lids. I don't have the name. I'll see if I can find it. It's probably in my Avant Black video. You can look it up. They're really nice. They're quality. I would get those to put on to mount on top of the speaker. Okay. When I was at Daytona Bike Week, the owner of Trask Performance comped me a Checkmate to install. And it's supposed to increase your horsepower by a couple, and it helps with the oil. Let me tell you exactly what helps. Hold on a second. I don't want to skimp on that. All right, it says the Harley Davidson M8 engine is plagued with excessive oil consumption and blow-by. The Trask Performance Checkmate vented transmission top cover fixes most of these issues by using a one-way Boyesen valve, I don't know if I'm saying that right, to bleed off excess crankcase pressure while keeping the oil-air mist in the cam chest, allowing the oil pump to work more efficiently. This reduces the oil exiting from the head breathers and frees up engine power by allowing easier revving. Anyway, that's straight from their site. I installed it. Nice looking unit, very well made. I have to take their word for it, 'cause I couldn't do a before and after. I don't know the difference, but it's got a great reputation. So check that out. Windshields. I've gone through, I think, 4 or 5 different windshields. 3 different size Clockworks. I did a Memphis Shades and something else, I believe. I prefer the Clockworks. You got to find the size that's good for you. I think I went with a 15 inch, if I'm not mistaken, or 14. That was the right for my height. I'm about 6'2". The air just kind of goes over when you do that. Go a little bit lower, you're going to get, if you like to ride with no helmet or the brain bucket, you're going to get whipped with some wind unless you go a little bit higher. So if you want the little baby windshield, go with that. Whatever you like. I went through 3 or 4 until I found the one I like. I'm sticking with Clockworks. I have Clockworks on my CVO. I have 2 of those. I may have to go to a 3rd because I'm still getting hit with a little bit of wind. And long distance, I like to have a little more protection from the wind and rain. Let's talk about seats. I've had, I don't know, 5 or 6 different seats on there. I've had the stock one, that's terrible. I don't know anybody rides on a stock seat. If you're riding on a stock seat, you better change that. That's ridiculous. I had the Mustang Super Touring, which was good on long distance. I wasn't crazy about the look. I had the Kraus one, the custom Kraus one. I didn't like that. I only kept it like a day. I had a couple Saddlemans. I didn't like those. I had a CNC Rider one. Actually, I have a CC Rider one for my CVO. It's not bad, good price. The one I like the most that I had on both bikes is the Advan Black Cobra seat. It's good, long distance. I've taken it a couple thousand miles, and it's a pretty good seat, very good seat. And they have a couple different colors too, like color piping you can use. So I like the Advan Black seat. If you're gonna go with seats, check those out, in my opinion. Okay, tour packs. You can get, it didn't come with a tour pack, mine. Again, I bought the base model. You can get a tour pack from Harley, and it costs you what, $1,000? I don't even know what it's at now. You get it from Advan Black, Hogworks. They make quality ones. You can get one from TCMT, which I did. I bought, my first one was a TCMT chopped tour pack. And it was fine. Not as good quality as the Harley one. I changed the locks on it and some of the hardware. It wasn't bad. It's a good alternative if you don't have the money to spend for a brand new tour pack. So that's that on tour packs. The Harley ones are a little better. So it's up to you. But you can definitely get away with a TCMT one. No doubt about it. Had a few different mirrors on there, Arlen Ness mirrors, a couple different ones. I like the Arlen Ness mirrors, were pretty good. Went through a bunch of different grips. Again, your own personal preference on what you want with grips. I have the Zero LED license frame, nice little unit, nice and bright, and you can set it up with the rest of the lights. Let me talk about the rest of the lights. I had a bunch of custom dynamics and Zero additional lights all over that bike. And you can get the modulator from Custom Dynamics, get the modulator. So when you step on a brake, it pulses. Like you can set up what kind of pulse pattern you pick. I think it's like 10 different settings. So all the lights work together. So you hit that brake, everything's pulsating. If you want it to pulsate, I would recommend that. So I had the filler panel lights, I had tour pack lights, had lights everywhere from Custom Dynamics and Zero. So check out those two, see which one you like better. I need to get some for my CVO. So definitely check those out. So I went to the fairing exchange. I got the electric blue inner fairing. They stopped making that in 2018, but it was good for my color match that I wanted to do. So they swapped it out. They take your old fairing. I think they charge like $4 and change to do it. They do all the work. So that was pretty nice. I had my own crash bars. There's a couple different kinds I used. The ones on Amazon work fine. I used it on, just so it's not on this bike, but I used it on my CVO, the Vindicta crash bars. You can see it on one of my channels. That's also a nice option. And it would go great with the Vanguards if you get those, the new bars. My dog's got to walk around right now. So check out Vindicta if you're looking for crash bars. They're very good. Went with the Ciro highway pegs. Now the Ciro are different. They connect to the floorboard. Connect to the bottom of the floorboard, the front one, and they come out and you can adjust exactly where you want them. I kind of like that. Again, it's own personal preference, but it's a nice little difference than mounting it on a crash bars if you have crash bars. If you don't have crash bars, then do that. If you don't have crash bars, you drop that bike. Oof. There's a company called Soft Brake. I had the Soft Brake clutch. Now, if you don't have that, it's great. What it does, it reduces the angle. So it's hard to say from here, but basically you're all the way out on a Harley. On a soft brake, you're about here. So the friction zone's like right here. It's very easy. Instead of having to pull in all the way out there, it's here. So you're sitting at a light and bumper. Now, some people put their bike in neutral. You're not supposed to do that basically, because if somebody's coming at you fast from behind, you see it, you got to worry about getting in gear real quick. If you're in gear, you just let go of that clutch and go. But anyway, whether you do that or not doesn't matter. If you're the type that's going to sit at a light and keep your hand on the clutch, you're going to get like Popeye arms. So this makes it a lot easier. So basically, if you have that, it's a lot less of a pull, a lot less strain on your forearm. I highly recommend that, whether you have a hydraulic clutch or not. It works both ways. So definitely get that. It's one of the first things I got. I also got the soft brake arm. Now the difference is the Harley brake is pretty much like this. The soft brake is almost like that. So you extend it further out, gives you a little bit more room, and you're not constantly, like your foot's not like this. So it's like just a little feather it that way. So the soft brake arm is a very good addition too. I'd recommend. I put the Arlen Ness air cleaner on there. I like it. It looks badass. They have all different kind of color schemes. I mean, it's supposed to be better for breathing too, but it looks badass. That's the main reason you're doing it. I used a Roland Sands shifter rod. I highly recommend changing your shifter rod on your bike. If it's brand new, it's not going to go for a couple of years, but they're made to break down. I mean, if you look at the way they're made compared to like a Roland Sands shifter rod or another one, night and day difference between the two. I would highly recommend it. And if you're having any problems getting into neutral, shifter rod might be the problem. Check out my video on that. But it's very easy to change. I highly recommend doing it. You don't want to be stuck on the side of the road when your shifter rod fails. If your bike's a few years old and hasn't been changed, I would definitely get on that. Peace of mind alone, it's under $100 usually. Let's talk about oil coolers. This is where it gets a little interesting. Let's talk about the heat on a bike. I had the Harley fan assisted oil cooler. I had that installed. Why did I have that installed? This is where it gets interesting. There's a company called DK Customs that makes an oil filter relocation kit. I installed it, which you'll see, which I can show you here. I installed that. The quality and workmanship of the components are great. It's badass looking too. I love the way it looks. And in theory, what it does, it moves the oil filter from your engine, mounted on your engine, to back behind your left floorboard. So the oil has a chance to cool down a little bit as it goes through and back into the engine. Where in the engine, the engine's so hot, the oil's constantly staying hot. So it does cool the oil down. Here's the problem. I sprung 2 leaks on it. One was probably my fault because I ran the braided hose near the top, on top of the primary, by the primary, and I sprung a leak. I fixed that right away. It wasn't a problem. When I took my bike from Florida to Texas, on the way back from Texas, I started spurting out oil. I didn't even know it. I could have blown my engine. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if I hit something or a piece of rock jumped up from underneath and hit the line, and I started leaking oil. I had Harley take that whole thing out, threw it in the garbage. I went back to the standard way, and I put the Harley fan assisted oil cooler on there, which comes on automatically. I think at 210 or something like that. So anyway, if they don't figure out a way to run these lines better or reinforce it, I would stay away from it. Theory, it works great, it looks cool, but it's not worth the trouble. The possible breakdown, ruining your bike. So that's the one thing. I got all kinds of LED lights, lit up the whole bike in the beginning. It was cool, but I'm not doing that again. I took it off. That's one thing you could add. Zero makes a really nice, I forgot what it's called. They have probably the best lighting system for a bike. It totally light your bike up. It actually matches music. Like as your music's playing, it bumps at the same time. But that's one thing I had on there. There's two types of drop guards you can get. Now, if you like to practice on your bike, and you should, but everybody's afraid of dropping a bike. I have not practiced on my CVO yet. I'm not dropping that bike. But if you practice on your bike, you can get two different kinds of drop guards. There's one, they're plastic. They're like $30 for a set of for front and back crash guards. It just pop right on. Real good. It'll save your crash bars from damage. There's another one that made really well by motorcycledropguards.com. And there's a video on that. Look really nice. The only problem is if you drop, you're going to scratch those up. You might have to repaint the drop guards. But they come in gloss or chrome, and they're well made. They go on the engine guards. They're nice. Check those out. You should practice, so if you're going to practice, get those. I installed a backup camera. It's very easy to do because I had the Sony 7000 as an option for a backup camera. All I did was run a wire. I run the camera from the back of the unit, under the seat, under the gas tank, through the seat, and I set it up in the fairing. I set it up in the fairing. I drilled a little hole, popped the camera in. It's kind of cool to have. Sometimes you may think, when am I going to use a backup camera? Well, sometimes if you're parked between two trucks or something, you got to back out. It helps to see anybody coming. It's cool to have. You don't have to have it. Not many people do, if anyone, but it's kind of an option. I did install that. Captain Itch heat shield. I don't know if you've seen those. They're pretty cool. I have it right here. I have the Punisher one. Some people complain that it should protect you from the heat because it kind of like goes over your, keeps the heat from hitting your inner thighs. Something looks cool. Check it out. I like that. I had no problems with it. FOBO. I don't even know what FOBO stands for. It's a tire pressure monitoring system. It's not expensive. If your bike doesn't come with a TPMS, there are two little sensors that screw on your valve. You set it up with your phone, and you set what low and high range and optimum range for your tires should be. And it'll warn you when you get next to it if your tire pressure is low. Tire pressure is low, it tells you till you fill it up and you're good to go. It's a great little tool if you don't have it, and it's not expensive, and it all works on the app. Definitely check out FOBO. It's good to have. I did my own DIY garage door opener. You can see it in the video. Very easy to do, or you could go buy one. I forgot the name of the company. There's a company that sells them. It goes into your port where the cigarette lighter is. It replaces that. It's just a push button. You just have to take the fairing off. It's not hard. You can do that, or you can install your own. Just use, whatever garage remote you have and a button. I'll show you in a video how to do that. So that's something you can do real easy, or you could just Velcro a garage door opener to your bike. Whatever you want to do. There's this company called More Shade. You could get through there through Etsy. It's a cheaper version of some of the other ones. It's a real thin, like a spandex type material that covers your seat. So if you're out in the heat all the time, or you could just easily cover your seat. It goes from like the rear seat to the handlebars, and it covers that part. Keeps you out of the sun. It's not really made for the rain so much, it's more for the sun. It's called More Shade. Okay, let's talk about this one. This one is the most controversial video I've done. It's love jugs. Everybody talks about love jugs, and they make some claims on their website how it cools down the bike. It's amazing what they claim. And again, already talked about this. My Road Glide was so damn hot, so I bought them, installed them. They're kind of cool. They sound like jet engines when you put them on, but they don't work. Maybe they work on some other bikes. On this Road Glide, it did not cool. What I did was I tested it just standing at idle, like 85-degree temperature, and the temperature just continually went up with it on. A couple degrees here, there. It kept going up. I ran it for like, I don't remember, 15 minutes maybe, and the temperature consistently rose. I don't care. Everybody's saying, well, you gotta be moving. That's bullshit. If you're moving, the wind's gonna take care of that. All it's doing is blowing hot air across the motor. It doesn't cool it down. It doesn't work. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't work. Go get it if you want, but I'm telling you, these love jugs don't work on the Road Glide, on that particular one. Maybe different models it would. Maybe it doesn't have to deal with so much heat, but on that bike, it did not cool down. It went up. And I didn't even care if it cooled down. Just keep it to where it was. I forgot what the temperature was, but say it was 325 or 350 or whatever it was, or just keep it there. If I turn it on, keep it where it's at. Don't keep getting hot. If you keep getting hot, it can do that on its own. Love jugs are a waste if you ask me, but go ahead and spend the money. Let me know how that works out for you.
Alright, let's come back in 5 minutes. Okay, just about 2 minutes in. Let's take a look, see what it's doing. Just sitting in an idle. Oil temperature's the same, about. And guess what? Going up 372 now. Alright, in fairness to love jugs, without the love jugs on, would it still be going up? Of course. But I was hoping at least the love jugs would keep it from getting hotter. It's not. So I'm gonna wait another 2 minutes to give it the full 5 and see where it's at. And I got a feeling I'm taking love jugs off of this bike today. It's not worth it. We'll see. Anybody want to buy a set of love jugs? I should lie and say, oh, it's amazing. It cuts it way down. It's like air conditioning for the bike. I don't think so. Where are we at in the timer? 150. I'll give it to him. I'll give it another minute, make it a full 4. Not happy about this. Alright, 1:30 to go, so 3.5 minutes. Let's see where we're at. Oil temp went down a little bit. $378. Love jugs, you are a failure.
I got the Suicide Choppers backrest and luggage rack. I love it. It's badass, made well. It matches the KST Spearheads. It's a really nice unit. It takes a few weeks to get because they're always behind a little bit. But Suicide Choppers, look at these. They're beautiful. I definitely recommend them. I installed the Scorpio alarm. It's not a hard install. Just follow the instructions. It works. Comes with a remote. And for the peace of mind, like especially if you're traveling and your bike's downstairs and you're in a hotel, it's nice to know that the alarm's going off. You get a warning on your unit. It also comes with a proximity switch if you want to use that. Actually, you pay a little bit extra for it. Anybody gets close, it starts going off. It's a pain in the ass though. So, Scorpio alarm, it's worth the peace of mind. It's not a hard install. I did a video on that too. I started talking about this and I forgot. The batteries. If the regular battery comes with your Road Glide, it's a good battery. And it's as good as any other battery out there. They work fine. But if you're going to put any extras in there, like lighting, sound systems, if you're going to put like 1,500, 200, 2,000 watt sound systems in there, you need to upgrade that battery big time. That Harley unit will not work for long. I went through two different ones. I did the Stinger AGM battery, and problem is the one I got it from either eBay or somewhere, had the fastest shipping, and it wasn't fully, it didn't hold its charge fully. It was good. I ended up going with the Nano HD lithium battery, and the Nano HD, it's like an $800 battery, but it can handle anything that bike has on it and then some. And it's just it's something like where your Harley is about 13 volts, somewhere in that range. This sits at over 14 volts. This goddamn dog. When the Harley sits at 13 and change on the voltmeter, this is 14 and change. It's a whole volt higher at least. And if you get any add-ons in like that special sound system, definitely get a lithium if you can. Harley makes a lithium, but stay away from that. That's good if you're going to stay with your base stock bike. You're going to add to it, go with a better brand. There's a couple different ones, Braille, Limitless. Those are the two best. A little thing called from Figurati Designs. It's a swing arm cover. They come in a bunch of different looks. They're nice. It's a thunderstorm out here right now. So check those out. The swing arm covers that come with your Harley, they're terrible. Plastic piece of garbage. Pop it right off, throw it in the garbage. Get the Figurati ones, they're good. So that pretty much covers it. I was sad to see the Road Glide go yesterday. I definitely lost money on it. You never get back what you put in. I put a shitload of money and time in that bike. I love that bike. It is great for driving across country. The difference between a Road Glide and a Street Glide, that's the difference there. Up to about 90 miles per hour. Once I get over 90 on my Street Glide, it doesn't handle it like the Road Glide did. The Road Glide would just cruise at 100. You wouldn't even think about it. It's a heavier bike though. Street Glide, for getting around town, I find it's a lot more maneuverable because it's a lot lighter, I guess. I've dropped that Road Glide a few times. So that's basically it. Sorry if it was long-winded. I was just trying to show you everything, talk about things. If you have any questions about any of these, put it in the comments. I'm just trying to save you the trouble of installing something you may not like or telling you all about it. Any other questions, put it in the comments. Hit the like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Definitely the like. Don't hit the dislike. I don't know why you guys put dislike, but like hit the dislike. I'm just trying to help. In all seriousness, I hope this video did help you. I'm trying to push out as many as I can, but now with this CVO, I don't really have many upgrades to do, so they're going to be a little few. I'm going to have to find different ways to get out to you. That's pretty much it. So I have new ones coming up on some lighting installs that I'm going to be doing. But until then, ride safe, hit the like and subscribe, and I hope I helped you on this video. See you out there.